The world watched on Saturday as a tense ceasefire between Israel and Hamas facilitated a dramatic exchange of hostages and prisoners. 3 Israeli hostages held captive for months finally walked free, their faces etched with the ordeal. Simultaneously, 183 Palestinian prisoners returned to a hero's welcome in Ramallah, marking another chapter in the ongoing struggle for peace in the region. This delicate exchange, while offering a glimmer of hope, underscores the deep complexities and mistrust that continue to plague negotiations. The exchange unfolded under the watchful eyes of the Red Cross in Deir al-Balah, Gaza. 3 Israeli hostages, Eli Sharabi, Ohad Ben-Ami, and Levi, were handed over to Red Cross officials before being transferred to the Israeli Defense Forces. Hamas orchestrated a public spectacle around the handover, parading the hostages on a stage before a crowd, flanked by armed men. The images, broadcast globally, drew criticism for their exploitative nature. In exchange for their release, Israel released 183 Palestinian prisoners. The prisoners were then transported to Ramallah in the West Bank, where they were met with jubilant crowds. This latest exchange brings the total number released since the ceasefire began on January 19th to 21 hostages and 566 prisoners. The agreement stipulates the release of 33 hostages and 1,900 prisoners within a 3-week period. However, the negotiations are fraught with challenges as Israel asserts that 8 of the remaining hostages are deceased, a claim disputed by Hamas. Upon their return, the physical condition of the hostages was a stark reminder of the harrowing ordeal they endured. Israeli President Herzog expressed deep concern, describing them as starved, emaciated, and pained. Prime Minister Netanyahu echoed these sentiments, vowing to hold Hamas accountable for their treatment. Families of the hostages, overjoyed at their return, were nonetheless heartbroken by their visible suffering. Steve Brisley, brother-in-law of Eli Sharabi, spoke of Sharabi's dramatic weight loss and the toll captivity had taken on his spirit. The hostages are now receiving medical attention and psychological support to help them process their trauma and begin the long journey towards recovery. Their release, while a cause for celebration, has also ignited anger and frustration amongst Israelis over the conditions of their captivity. In stark contrast to the somber homecoming of the hostages, the released Palestinian prisoners were met with scenes of jubilation in Ramallah. Thousands gathered to welcome them home, waving Palestinian flags and chanting slogans of victory. Among the released was Jamal al-Tawal, a prominent Hamas politician and former mayor who had been held without charge. His release was met with particular enthusiasm, highlighting the political dimensions of this conflict. However, the celebrations were tempered with concern, as 7 of the released prisoners were immediately hospitalized due to their deteriorating health. This has fueled accusations from Hamas that Israel has not been upholding its end of the ceasefire agreement, particularly regarding the provision of adequate medical care to prisoners. These accusations have further strained the already fragile negotiations.